Ladies and gentlemen, the academic procession is about to enter the hall. We will be singing the national anthem. The words are on page 11 of the program. Please be upstanding for the academic procession and remain upstanding for the national anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty.
I, Kevin John Scarce, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation convened for the purposes of presenting degrees. A very warm welcome to our special guest, Tim White, the Vice President of the Law Society, Judge Katrina Butcher, the Master of the Supreme Court and President of the John Bray Law Alumni Association. Distinguished guests, parents, friends, relatives, and particularly our graduates, a very warm welcome this afternoon. I wish to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the Adelaide Plains and the land upon which our campuses at North Terrace, Waite and Roseworthy are built. It's terrific to see the hall filled again. It was built in 1933 to 1936 from a £50,000 donation from Sir John Benithan. And it gives us a link between past and present graduates. And perhaps that's where we should start this afternoon, by congratulating our graduates on their achievements to date. I know they will have taken great pride and satisfaction, and I'm sure that pride and satisfaction is shared by their parents and their loved ones who've been instrumental in helping you to get here this afternoon. It's also a day of reflection of the past, and hopefully, and perhaps more importantly, a reflection of what's to come in the future. And as we think about the future, I hope you'll remind yourself what a fortunate country we live in, blessed with abundant natural resources and with people who are hardworking, resilient and resourceful. Those previous generations have laid the groundwork for our success, and now you have an opportunity to contribute to local, national and global communities. And when you do that, I hope you'll take time to serve those who are less fortunate than you are. I look forward to presenting your degrees shortly, but before doing that, I'd like to introduce today's orator. A great pleasure in introducing Miss Caroline Mell. Caroline graduated from the University of Adelaide in 1992 with a Bachelor of Laws honours and a Bachelor of Arts jurisprudence. After completing the Graduate Diploma of Legal Practice at the University of South Australia, Caroline was the Associate to former Supreme Court Justices, the Honourable Brian Cox QC and the Honourable Bruce Lander QC, before commencing work as a prosecutor at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in 1995. After 17 years in the DTP, Caroline took up a role at the Attorney General's Department as the Executive Director, Legal and Legislative Services, before becoming, in 2012, the Deputy Chief Executive. In April this year, Caroline was appointed the Chief Executive. We are indeed privileged to hear her speak today, so please welcome Caroline Mell.
Chancellor, Provost, distinguished guests, members of staff and graduates. Congratulations to the graduates for reaching this day, and also to your families and friends for supporting you throughout your degrees. I consider it a great honour to have been asked to speak at today's graduation ceremony, and in preparing for today, perhaps not surprisingly, I've reflected on my time at the University of Adelaide. I worked extremely hard to get into university. In the last few years of school, I was obsessed with getting as close to a score of 500, as it then was, as I possibly could. I learned essays about the Little Prince in French, memorised maths equations, dreamt in Italian, and in the lead up to exams, I'd study all day, every day, breaking for half an hour at lunch to watch The Bold and the Beautiful. I did well, and I easily got the marks I needed to get into the university to study arts, with the intention of taking up law after the first year. And why law? Because I didn't want to study medicine, and because I realised that my high school dream of becoming an actor was probably going to be rather inconsistent with my low self-esteem and a steady paycheck. And once I started law, I was horrified. I wasn't ready to think in a different way. I needed to analyse and apply the facts to the law and reason. The approach I'd taken to study that far was completely otiose. It devastated me. And that, combined with discovering the university bar and a rather good-looking chap in my French class, saw me finishing up my first year of law on a lovely sunny day in December, taking a sup for the law of contract, supervised by my lecturer and now Supreme Court Justice, the Honourable Kevin Nicholson. It's fair to say it was a less than auspicious start, but thankfully it got better. I got better. I learnt to think differently, and I started to enjoy it, and my romance with the law commenced. But it wasn't just about thinking differently. University was a whole new world for me. I grew up in a middle-class family with parents who made great sacrifices to send me to a private all-girls school. And university was, and still is obviously, a melting pot of people with different backgrounds, different experiences, views and politics. I found it all rather intoxicating. It was exciting and challenging, and I felt at home. And whilst I still feel and no doubt look as though I'm in my early 20s, it's actually been about 25 years since I graduated. But I have such vivid memories of being on this campus. It's like it was yesterday. Racing across the forecourt of the law building in my pyjamas to get an essay in before the due date at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Performing the works of Shakespeare and comedy reviews in the Little Theatre as part of a theatre company cleverly named Parting Company. Sharing the dressing room of the Little Theatre with Silverchair when they were teenagers and the main act at a Prosh Week event. The chocolate cake in the university coffee shop. And my friends. Above all, my friends. I met them through drama, not law, even though we've gone on to do completely different things, we remain extremely close. And I count those friendships, as one of the greatest achievements of my time at this university. I've never lost sight of how important my university education and the experience that went with it is. It's part of what makes me who I am today, and I'll forever be grateful. It was the springboard for my career, but it was just the beginning. I've no doubt that today you feel like you've scaled a mountain to get here. Well, if life is Mount Everest, you've probably just reached base camp, so get ready to climb. In April of this year, I signed a contract with the Premier, the Honourable Stephen Marshall, and became the Chief Executive of the Attorney General's Department. And shortly after starting the job, Professor John Williams of the Law School opined that I had the best job in the public service. And that comment's really resonated with me, because I think he's right. I get to work in the justice sector with a group of intelligent and committed people who really want to deliver and make things different. And just like university, I get to work with a group of diverse people with experiences and expertise unlike my own. And working with them to solve problems makes every day a joy. I have the privilege of working with the Honourable Vicky Chapman, South Australia's first woman Deputy Premier and Attorney General, and an alumnus of this university. Her Chief of Staff is also a woman. More than 50% of the executives in my department are female. Now, I don't call out the success of women in my workplace because I consider myself to be a feminist, but because I see it as demonstrating that times have changed, albeit still not enough, and that the possibilities for a career today and into the future are endless. And that's a future that makes me really hopeful for you and for my own 10-year-old daughter. So it's with some trepidation that I stand in front of you and venture to give you advice. I'm no Rhodes Scholar, but I've always been very passionate about my work. My sense of self-worth is inextricably linked to my job. I've worked very hard, but I've also been extremely lucky. And when I analyse the seminal moments of my career, I also realise I've been brave and I've seized opportunity. And so, if I am seen to have had a successful career so far, maybe it's because of those factors. Pele, the soccer player, says it much more eloquently. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing or learning to do. As the Chancellor said, my first job was an associate in the Supreme Court, firstly to the Honourable Brian Cox QC and then to the Honourable Bruce Lander QC. It was an amazing experience, and it was during that time that I realised I wanted to be a criminal prosecutor. In June of 1995, the then Director of Public Prosecutions, Paul Rofe QC, called me to an interview in his office that went for about 2 minutes, offered me a job, and for the next 17 years I practiced the criminal law. I loved it. I consider it an honour to have had the opportunity to prosecute serious crimes on behalf of the state and to help victims. The passion I felt for the work helped me deal with being confronted with some of the worst aspects of humanity, and it got me through years of working very long hours, including nearly 5 years working on the Snowtown Body in the Barrels prosecution. It also gave me an outlet to perform without the need to audition for every show. And since 2001, I've worked as an executive director and then the deputy chief executive in the department. And in that time, I've been very heavily involved in legislative reform, particularly of the criminal law, and I worked for a number of years with the former attorney, the Honourable John Rao. Stepping out of the courtroom terrified me. I can't quite explain how steep a learning curve it was, but I'm quietly proud of myself for taking a leap and taking my career in a different direction, even though I know that the knowledge and experiences I gained in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions are drawn on by me every day. It also makes me proud to know that I've been involved in developing some significant changes to the law in this state. And of course, now I've been given the whole department to run. What could possibly go wrong? Clearly, your careers will take a different path to mine. I wish you all the best in the future, in whatever that holds for you. I wish you the satisfaction of achieving your goals, the strength to get back up when you fail, and most importantly, that you all continue to build lives that you are proud to live. Thank you.
On behalf of the graduates and their family attending today's ceremony, I would like to thank Ms. Caroline Miller for her stimulating and inspiring address. We are honored that you have already taken the time to join us on this special day to share with us your thoughts and experience. Your words of encouragement and advice are really appreciated. They remind us that education places upon each of us an enduring responsibility to make the best possible use of our talents and to contribute to the betterment of society in whatever way we can. Please join me in once again thanking Ms. Caroline Miller. Thank you.
I will now receive candidates for degrees. I call upon the Provost and Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research.
Chancellor, I, Professor Mike Brooks, Provost and Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and the whole university that the graduates who will be presented to you have all fulfilled the conditions prescribed for admission to the award for which they are so presented.
I, Kevin John Scarce, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the University, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privileges of a holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented. I call upon the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences, Professor Anton Mittelberg, to present the candidates.
Chancellor, I, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences, Professor Anton Mittelberg, present to you graduates from the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences. To the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Mohsin Rizapur. To To the honours degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Mohammad Fazil Amarullah Abdul Ramin. Mohammad Amirul Asraf Afindi. Alam Abdullah Saeed Al-Shuali. Abdul Ghaffur Al-Dasuki. Alam Muhammad Awad Al-Hadrami. Fahad Al-Mir. Nurazida Amarudin. James Richard Anderson. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Michael John Bardadin. Aaron James Barker. Matthew Peter Boccaccio. Daniel Anthony Calandro. Also receiving the Diploma in Languages, Alexandra Caroline Callisto. Nathan Samuel Cartledge. Adrian Chekin. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Thomas Benjamin Chadwick. Chi Ip Chan. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Jade Caitlin Chantrell. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Brenton Chow. Guanghua Chen. Woong Ji Choi. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Eric Hua Chong. Jesse Liam Cordoma. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Stephen Christopher Danke. Suhaila Dinesh. Christopher Di Girolamo. Carl Robert Dorsch. Simon George Johnston Dewgood. Martin Elsgood. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Stephen Raymond Everts. Mohammed Faris Fauzi. Matthew Leslie Favell. Garth Lee Fernandez. Esther Viana George. Go Wei Ser. Yifan Guo. Matthew Malik Haddad. Mohammed Maitin Hassanli. Jinghoi Brady He. Bodie Henderson. Hong Huang. Mohammed Imran Akmal Ibrahim. Einal Shazwan Itamta. Judah Robin Johnston. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Joan Pavithra Joseph Xavier. Noor Diana Isyan Hiruz Lazar. Akello Angela Komatkech. Wei Fang Quan. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Zachary Kwok. Chito Lai. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Justin Lee. Chi Lee. Kang Lu. Meng Yang Liu. Chi Hao Liu. Si Young Liu. Yu Chin Lao. Yun Ting Ma. Isabel Rose Robertson March. Mohammed Uzay Mat Fauzi. Siti Nur Atika Mat Nur. Kyle Alexander Miller. Ashkan Moghadis. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Nabil Shah Mohammed. Adel Mosavi. Timothy Daniel Moa. Alifu Muwata. Zachary Netz. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Ian Andrew Newcomb. Erwin N. Lee Hoi Un. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Wilson Nguyen. Yuepeng Nung. Muhammad Ridwan Nur Hadi. Sean Michael O'Connell. Emily Jane Price. Nicholas George Sikagiopoulos. Chire Zhang. Jenna Serene Rahman. Anik Rizvi. Stephen John Rudd. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Trevor Samim. Brendan James Scott. Thomas Brayley Scott. Demi Adrienne Starrick. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Alan James Stote. Boyuan Swan. Yiwei Sun. Ju Chuang Shuo. Michaela Jane Tamlin. Tan Hung Wei. Xu Ntung. Malika Tavakolian. Joseph Taylor. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Richard Tran Tai. Toha Antran. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Jason Baktong Tran. Carlos Enrique Uzcatalin Lopez. Lorenz Victor. Harrison Mark Vince. Chu Jun Wang. Hui Wang. Adrian Robert Weinert. Sir Young Wong. Aragon Paul White. Natasha Lee Whitehorn. Leo Lee Roon Wong. Luke Peter Woolcock. Liang Xu. Yi Song Xu. Tin Yao Zhang. Chun Chun Jun. And Yiping Jun. To the degree of Master of Science, Petroleum Geoscience, Mohammad Saeed Sulaiman Al-Hinai. Alam Muhammad Ali Al-Jabri. And Atiya Mahmoud Saif Al-Sabahi. To the degree of Master of Petroleum Engineering, Furley Kamul. Muhammad Hendro Suyanto. Adrian Hosan Si. To the degree of Master of Engineering, Civil and Environmental, Wei Wei Duan. Jia Wen Li. Akshay Boshahib Mokal. Tung Fei Wong. Juinun Wu. Lin Zhou. Yuanyan Ju. To the degree of Master of Engineering Mining, Tong Li. And Robertus Roby. To the degree of Master of Engineering Mechanical, Jion Chao Chun. Meng Yang Chia. Yue Lu. Chu Yao. And Shenghao Xu. To the degree of Master of Engineering Mechatronic, Aaron Matthew Thomas. And Yinchi Chang. To the degree of Master of Engineering Electronic, Shanshen Li. Kwok Hong Dang. and Bao Chi Chu. To the degree of Master of Engineering Electrical, Xiao Hoi Pan. Yong Hao Pang. And Jun Xiong. To the degree of Master of Engineering Civil and Structural, Chun Kit Chun. Xiao Chun Chui. Xuan Dong. Muhammad Ahmed Farok. Osman Hafiz. Chu Hei Ho. On Kit Lee. Xing Liu. David Mauricio Moya Roldan. And Chi Yun. To the degree of Master of Engineering Chemical, Andre Danilo Chacon Para. Liang Ding. And Lei Guo. To the degree of Master of Engineering Aerospace, De Shen Kong. And Xin Chen Zhang. To the degree of Master of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Parametric System Identification of Rocket Combustion Instability using the Fokker-Planck Equation, Pablo Nicolas Blanco. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Maritime Radar Target Detection Using Time Frequency Analysis, Dr. Vichet Duck. For a thesis entitled Study on Borehole Stability in Fractured Rocks in Deep Drilling Conditions, Dr. Etesham Al-Haq Karatala. For a thesis entitled Graphitic Carbon Materials for Energy and Environment, Dr. Ramesh Udaya Shankar Kuranagaran. For a thesis entitled Terahertz Metasurfaces for Wideband Polarization Control, Dr. Wendy Suk-Ling Lee. For a thesis entitled Constructive Spiking Neural Networks for Simulations of Neuroplasticity, Dr. Toby Asher Lightheart. For a thesis entitled Functional Composite Nanocarriers for Traceable Drug Delivery, Dr. Lei Liu. For a thesis entitled Parametric Study of Soot in Turbulent Non-Premixed Jet Flames, Dr. Saleh Mahmood. For a thesis entitled Development of Optical Microchip Sensor for Biomolecule Detection, Dr. Mahdi Namati. For a thesis entitled Developing a Semi-Automatic Calibration Procedure for Cellular Automator-Based Land-Use Models, Dr. Charles Peter Newland. For a thesis entitled Optimization of the Production of Biodiesel from Recycled Grease Trap Waste, Dr. Niep Nam Tran. For a thesis entitled Adaptive Reinforcement Learning for Heterogeneous Network Selection, Dr. Nguyen Doc Duong. For a thesis entitled Magnetic Current Inspired Antennas for Wearable Applications, Dr. Shri Pramod Pinapati. For a thesis entitled Simulation and Optimization of Hydraulic Fracturing and Flowback in Unconventional Reservoirs, a case study in the Cooper Basin, South Australia, Dr. Kunakorn Pokalai. For a thesis entitled A Software Tool for Assessing the Performance of Water Distribution System Solution Methods Based on Graph Theory, Dr. Mengning Chu. For a thesis entitled The Effect of Unsteady Flow on Wind Turbine Wake Development and Noise Generation, Dr. Nima Sedakhati-Zadek. For a thesis entitled Quantification of Uncertainty of Geometallurgical Variables for Mine Planning Optimization, Dr. Exchel Manuel Sepúlveda Escobedo. For a thesis entitled Three-Tether Wave Energy Converter Hydrodynamic Modeling Performance Assessment and Control, Dr. Natalia Sergienko. For a thesis entitled A Kinematically Enhanced Constitutive Model for Progressive Damage Analysis of Unidirectional Fibre Reinforced Composites, Dr. Vuv Dakvan. For a thesis entitled Initiation of Smouldering Combustion in Biomass, Dr. Hu Che Woon. And for a thesis entitled Beam Space Signal Processing for Directional Transmission Phased Arrays, Dr. Rei-Ting Yang. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences.
Chancellor, I, Dean and Head of School of Architecture and Built Environment, Professor Alan Peters, present to you the graduates from the School of Architecture and Built Environment. To the degree of Bachelor of Architectural Design, Jade Jill Baker. Samuel Barrera. Daniela Chianca. Alicia Kate Eckert. Evelina Krasimunova Glogowska. Changhao Jiang. Jack Coates. Savina Lam. Li Zhongyu Axel. Lu Lu. Tom Isaac Skidmore. Kevin Ang. Bingzhang Wu. And Siyu Xie. To the degree of Master of Property, Dunstan Ose Ogubo. To the degree of Master of Planning, Urban Design, Yang Dong. Yao Ge. Anahita Ghaffari Harivand. Ling Jin. Rui Liu. Bei Sun. And Shui Yang. To the degree of Master of Planning, Shuao Tang. To the degree of Master of Landscape Architecture, Ye Xuan. To the degree of Master of Architecture, Kylie Sheepers. And Changyi Yang. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the School of Architecture and Built Environment and for this ceremony.
Thank you. I'm very pleased now to present Samuel Barrera, who is this afternoon was presented with the Bachelor of Architectural Design. Samuel will now give a valedictory address on behalf of the cohort of graduates who were presented with their awards today. Samuel?
Chancellor, Provost, distinguished speaker, faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, this year's graduating cohort. Firstly, I wish to say that I'm deeply honoured and deeply nervous to be asked to deliver the valedictory speech. I contacted the graduation office to inquire how I came to be nominated. They were quite vague and simply said it came through the head of department. I wanted them to name names. Cohort, I researched that word. Cohort, an ancient Roman military unit. If we are a military unit, then let us name our enemies as ignorance, complacency, and mediocrity. Today we have defeated our enemy, and tonight we celebrate. Cohort, a group of people with shared characteristics. Our shared characteristics are sleep deprivation, dark shadows, and extreme caffeine dependency. And lastly, my favourite, cohort, a supporter or companion. Look around because they're sitting next to us now. They stayed with us till the early hours of the morning in one of the various CAD labs dotted around the uni. They were our sounding boards when we were testing new ideas, and they always gave us a distinction when we were asked to criticise each other's work. I would like to take the time to reflect on my own experiences at the university. As you may or may not have noticed, I'm a mature age student, and as such, at times, my university experience has been different to the typical student experience. In some respects, my personal life was more on par with some of my professors. This was confirmed when I found myself in a conversation with one, at first discussing examples of vernacular architecture in parts of the third world, and then moving on to nappies, co-sleeping, and the virtues of sorbeline. In my time at the university, I've observed that the student experience can be quite varied, whether we are older students exploring new paths, or students straight out of high school, or students who have moved here from overseas or interstate, living out of home for the first time, not only having to learn the curriculum, but having to learn to clean, cook, and take care of ourselves. All of us here today have experienced the journey in different ways, but there's one experience that we all share, that of hard work. Hard work that we all put in, together or alone, to get to this moment where we can join the many thousands of alumni who have stood here before us and proudly graduated from the University of Adelaide. Most of us did not make this journey alone. I want to take the time to thank all the people in our lives who have been here to help us make this moment possible. We thank the faculty and educators for making our brains bend in ways we didn't know possible. We thank administration for telling us when and where to be. We thank our parents for their support, perhaps for keeping a roof over our heads, maybe for feeding or washing our clothes, or maybe for babysitting for us while we're attending lectures. We thank our siblings for taxing us to uni or for nurturing our competitive edge. Maybe we thank our parents-in-law also for babysitting. We thank those who were with us at the start of this journey but sadly could not be here at the end. We miss them. We thank the various coffee purveyors around the university. We thank our colleagues for their support, understanding, and for sharing this experience. We thank our children for being the most beautiful distraction from study. We thank our friends and our family who've watched us grow with nothing but pride and admiration. And lastly, we thank our partners who more often than not are the ones that are neglected while we're trying to juggle life and study. Our partners who are our biggest supporters and help us even make this possible. Our partners who only very occasionally grab us by the scruff of the neck and say, "You were supposed to do this when you were 18. We're here now at our graduation. It is an important timestamp in our lives. From here we go on to different paths. Maybe we enter the workforce. Maybe return home to our home countries. Maybe, if we're a little bit crazy, we go on to further studies. Maybe we go travelling or go on to something completely different. Whatever we choose from here, I wish all my fellow graduates the best of luck and thank them for enriching my university experience. Lastly, I want to end with 2 quotes because that's what Google said I should do. The first by Flannery O'Connor: "Total non-retention has kept my education from being a burden to me." And the second by Eleanor Roosevelt: "The future belongs to those who believe in their dreams." Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. It's now time to wrap up our graduation ceremony. So let me conclude by again congratulating our graduates. Be proud of what you've worked to achieve, and as Samuel has reminded us, let's not forget those who've supported us to get to this end. I wish you every success in this new exciting phase of both your life and your career. As graduates of the University of Adelaide, you are its alumni and ambassadors. Over the years since the university was established, its alumni have made an enormous contribution to both the community here and throughout the world, and today you join 150,000 alumni located through 80 countries in our globe. Can I finish perhaps with acknowledging that the lifeblood of any university is its student body, its staff and professoriate. And the staff and professoriate are the kingpins behind our students, and it's appropriate that we acknowledge and thank them for their contribution to this graduating class. Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge and thank our Mace Bearer, Nam, and also our valedictorian, Samuel. I now ask the graduates to remain seated, everybody else to rise and join me in once again congratulating our graduates. Would our guests remain standing, please? Our graduates rise. We are now concluding our academic graduation. I declare this congregation adjourned.